Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Today is going to be a bit of a different video. Obviously, for Project Eden's Garden, the fangan was cancelled, so we only really have one chapter that I could rank, which I would put it in either A or S tier, for anyone wondering. Probably A tier. I would probably be able to rank a prologue on its own, but then it'd just be like C tier, because it's just a prologue. But, anyways, because of that, and after a couple months after the controversy, at least I think it's been a couple months, my sense of time is non existent. I'm instead going to be ranking the characters from what we know about them in what we saw in the prologue in chapter 1 and what we've learned about the story from stuff that's been released after from the leaks, after, pretty much after the project pretty much ended, around the time the project pretty much ended. So, to start things off, Wolfgang. I'm going to put Wolfgang into B tier, I think. I think Wolfgang is a very interesting character, and I do wish he got to live to actually see that potential, but I also agree with him as chapter 1 victim at the same time. It's like there's these two opposing forces, and the writers having to try to balance those forces, it definitely wasn't easy. I definitely would have liked to see him in at least one murder trial, but at least we got the prologue trial for him, which is why I'm not putting him lower. But yeah, I do think Wolfgang is a pretty overall solid character. I would have liked for him to be alive long enough for us to learn he's a fraud, like so he's not a corpse while we learn he's a fraud. But overall, I think he's a fine character who sets up enough intrigue ahead of time, and I think he's genuinely a fine chapter 1 victim. Not as good as I originally would have had him, because when he originally died, I had him probably as A or maybe even S tier, because of the fact that I didn't yet actually know about the stuff about him being a fraud. Ava, A tier. She's great as a first killer. Nothing that's like exemplary or anything like that. Overall, she's a pretty solid first killer. Genuinely, really do enjoy her. She definitely hit a lot harder because I did one of her free time events in chapter 1. But yeah, I think this is a pretty fair placement for her. She's the chapter 1 killer, and yes, some chapter 1 killers are probably characters I would put in S tier. Example, spoilers for V3, but it's first killer. Screw it, not saying spoilers for V3 because I technically didn't spoil anything, but yeah, the V3's first killer is an S tier character. But yeah, Ava is not quite S tier in my opinion. She's pretty solid, but she seems largely forgotten about by the story after her death, and so yeah. Next up is Ulysses, the goat. I joke, like, yeah, he was my favorite character early on, but that was quickly replaced with other characters in chapter 1. As for Ulysses, I'd place him in C tier. He's a good setup character, sets up Wenona's arc pretty well. Honestly, he seems like he has an interesting arc that I just don't know a lot about chapter 2 daily life. I think, I don't know. He seems like a good enough setup character. Nothing exemplary. Probably you would have had him a little bit higher, maybe like B tier if I actually got to see chapter 2. Like we actually got to see chapter 2, but like I think C tier is where I can put him for now. John Delamere. I'm also going to put him in A tier. I think he is genuinely a pretty amazing subversive character. I really do enjoy what they do with his character, or what they were going to do with his character. I know some people have mixed feelings about it, but I personally really do like it. I think John is genuinely a really fun character, and there was a good amount of foreshadowing for it, so yeah, A tier for him. Next to die was Kai. So let me get this straight. So you introduce Ava as the initial support, start building up Kai in chapter 1 daily life, kill Ava as chapter 1 killer, and then Kai dies as the chapter 3 victim? What the fuck were they smoking with this one? I know this one was a change as well as originally being Grace, which is also a what the fuck were they thinking with that one? Like, I don't know, man. Anyways, I did really enjoy Kai as a character. Kai is a character I genuinely love, and he probably would have broken my heart. Genuinely would have been such a surprising Chapter 3 victim, honestly. And I don't really like. Do I put him in S here? Do I? Yeah, I'm a little disappointed with his where they put him. The fact that he did all of this to just kill him off in Chapter 3, and just the fact that his murder had nothing to do with him as well. Like the fact that him getting killed was just an opportunity kill. I don't know, man. Kai was a character I did not expect to survive, so I'm not that upset they didn't survive. But man, am I a little disappointed that they were going to kill him off this early. Kaimon shippers in the comments, I see you. Anyways, next up is Toshiko. Toshiko, um, I'll put Toshiko here. Yeah, also just gonna slide that. I'll put Toshiko here. I do really enjoy Toshiko, just from what we saw of her, plus everything we know about her. Like her always trying to portray herself as like this like big mature person, but she just cracks under almost no pressure and just kind of does a kill because she has an opportunity to. I think that's really interesting as a concept. I'm a little disappointed that it seems like her like hiding her mouth find her fan. Maybe I've just missed some stuff, but I don't think it's been stated anywhere that it was going to have that big of an impact. And also, like, yeah, also her execution, like Damon's eyes being blocked out for her execution, and like Damon's eyes being blocked to not see her execution, I think is a really nice detail as well. Overall, though, she doesn't really stand out to me as much as the characters in A tier, or I'll put her above Wolfgang at the very least. But yeah, there's not a lot to say about her, honestly. A lot of my theories were wrong. She wasn't the traitor, but she did end up working with Toshiko and Tozu and Mara in the third class trial, so there's that at least. Next up is Ingrid. Where was the fucking promise? Y'all said you weren't gonna kill the buff character in chapter 4. Were you referring to John with that statement? Was Ingrid not considered? I admittedly know that it was a different death order back then, but still, y'all could have kept to your promise. For Ingrid, legitimately, I don't have anything to say about Ingrid, honestly. She's like fine. I guess I like don't I mean, she's just boring. She's like a sweet personality, and she's like, I feel like they probably were gonna do something interesting. Like maybe, I guess maybe like they were gonna be like, oh well, her jumping on the bomb was like because of Toshiko's. Yeah, her jumping on the bomb was because she couldn't save Toshiko, so she tried to save Mark, but like it just added to another death. Overall, I find her like the least interesting character here. Honestly, I'm like, I just don't. I find her boring. Like it's an interesting concept, but like it's not really that unique. But yeah, I do generally like a lot of this cast, but Ingrid is one of them that I'm not that big of a fan of. Speaking of Mark, no, I'm not gonna put him in F tier just because of the voice actor. But I am gonna put him in D tier. You know what? Screw it. I'm putting him in F tier. Here, this is like maybe I've heard an outdated version. I've heard potentially that I've heard an outdated version of what was going on with Mark in chapter 4 and why he chose to try to end his life. But overall, it's just like this is a concept I came up with. It's in like my first fangan draft Fs and like my second fangan draft. And like that is not a draft I look upon very fondly, so that's probably a little bit biased against this type of thing. But also, it's just like I don't know. I don't like Mark. Like, part of this is probably me trying to justify putting him low because, but like, we didn't get anything from him. We got nothing from him in the first chapter in the prologue. We got nothing from him. His death is like kind of the stupidest one in the entire fangan, in my opinion. And also a little bit of bias because his voice actor got the fangan canceled. So that's Mark in F tier. Next up is Desmond. I genuinely love the guy. I genuinely love the guy. I can't not love the guy. He is like my second favorite character. Oh man. Like I knew he was dying before Eloise. My brother was so confident that Desmond was going to outlive Eloise. But I was right. He died before her. Unfortunately, unlike my prediction, Eloise didn't survive. Whoopsie daisy. But anyways, yeah, Desmond. I think he's genuinely a great character. I actually love the dude so much. It's like his chill attitude, like he's a problem solver. Like I, this one is not really as much from a story structure standpoint as much as it's just me liking the guy. I love the guy to bits. Next up is Eloise, who I'm putting here, not here. Like she's a fine character. I don't know. I haven't heard much about her after chapter one. In chapter one, she didn't really do anything. Like all I really heard is like, oh, you know, her in terms of Desmond, and like that's fine or whatever. Again, like only like D tier and below is like what I consider to be bad. C tier is like standard for me. Um, yeah, yeah. Eloise, she's fine. Next up is the boy Damon. So yeah, Damon. I mean, with his character arc that's been mentioned, I think actually, yeah, I do have him above Desmond. He wasn't the character I was referring to earlier when I said a character was above Desmond, but Damon's definitely above Desmond. I think his character arc is great. It's exactly as what I imagined, but sometimes predictable works. Uh, yeah, like yeah, of course he's eventually gets a character arc where he becomes a nicer person and eventually sacrifices himself for the sake of the group. Like that's just the Damon story arc that I imagined back in the prologue when he was talking about ego and shit. Like even then I was like, okay, so this is what's going to happen, and it happened, and I can't be disappointed in that. So yeah. Next up is Cassidy, who I'm gonna put right here. I think she is such an interesting mastermind. Like she seems like she's like used her following and influence and stuff like that to form a cult, which is cool as shit. Maybe I've misheard that or misremembered it, but like she seems like a cool mastermind. And like I like all different types of masterminds. They don't all have to be like the super cool badass type, but I do like the Cassidy is the super cool badass type because she's such a goofball. And yeah, overall, I definitely have Cassidy as a character I adore. I adored her in chapter one. I adored her in the prologue, and I adore her in what I've heard about chapter six. Next up to survivors, I've heard Diana takes over as protag, so I'm just gonna whoop. She was the character I was referring to earlier when I said I like the character more than Desmond. Diana was at the end of chapter one my favorite character, and I just genuinely I love the girl. Well, I think that this is what I figured out from what they've planned of her. Like she's a character I probably would have loved to see all the way through. Now then, for the other three survivors, eeny, meeny, miny, support. I'll do the support first. Wenona. I'll put her here. She's got good points. She's got bad points, like Wolfgang. And then I'm a little bit biased because we actually didn't get to see the stuff like Wolfgang, and also she took over a support role from Kai after Kai was killed off prematurely. Like, yeah, I think she's fine, but like overall, I think that probably her character story is a bit rushed from what I've heard, and I'm not super big on her as well. Like, I think she's interesting, interesting enough. Yeah, I'll put her above Wolfgang. But like, I would have loved. She probably would have been even higher if we got to see it. But maybe above Toshiko, maybe even above Eva. Probably not above John, but I don't know. All depends on how they would have executed upon it. But I am also a bit salty that Kai dies in chapter 3, so Wenona can take over as the frickin' support. Okay, cool, whatever. Jett, or not Jett, I guess. I found him fun. I think the twist probably would have been interesting, but overall, like, not the most exciting thing in the world. Like, it was pretty obviously not Jett under there. And overall, I think this is he's a fine survivor. Nothing too crazy to write home about. And then Grace. I don't know much about how they would have executed Grace post chapter 1, but we got from her in chapter 1, and from like the little tidbits I've heard about her post chapter 1, I think she would have been a great character. But yeah, overall, this is my thoughts on the Project Kingsgarden cast. Overall, I like them a lot more than I dislike them. There's like 2 characters that I really like, dislike or hate, and there's 12 characters that I like or love or just favorites, and then there's like 2 I'm kind of neutral on. So yeah, overall, this is my now this is my Project Kingsgarden character tier list. I feel like I probably would have enjoyed it a lot. Maybe not chapter 4, but I would have enjoyed it a lot if we got to see it all the way through. But I'm at least happy with what we got. And yeah, overall, I really think that this game had a lot of potential, and I hope that whenever someone continues it, that they do it justice. Peace.